anyị na Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise, ise, ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. If you are joining me from Africa, Asia, Europe, America, Australia, or any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contribution. Please, each time you watch my video, go to the comment section and put down your comment. That is
you can ask me any question, everything new. You and I are Nigerians. We have seen the way it was, the way it is till this very moment. And we are not the type who will just sit and say, when the time comes, we will tell lies to the people, as having been the solution to our numerous problems. No, we have done, we are still, as you meet me, a certain part of us is still conducted research at home and outside Nigeria. That's why I say, ask me anything. And we are sincere to itself, we are down to earth. There are documents we cannot bargain with for anything, because it affects the security, welfare, and well-being of Nigerians, and Nigeria as an entity, looking at Committee of Nations.
Okay. I'd like to start from the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, because you've been a military person for over decades. And if at this moment we have bandits, or some people say they are terrorists, writing and saying they want to kidnap the president of Nigeria and they want to kidnap a sitting governor, do you think we still have a country that we can support?
With all sense of humility, I say to you boldly, yes.
Good.
And before I answer you, let me tell you that some of us noted this, planned for this, planned against it, and planned to contain it since 90s. And we have witnesses. All the security agencies in Nigeria can see our submissions intermittently from understanding domestic games, dirty, from all aspects of that makes Nigeria, from Nigeria's mainstay, when you look at Nigeria's economy. And then when you look at also some foreign countries, we envisage this is coming to pass. And then it is happening. I'm not saying we are proud of ourselves, because we now look at the trend. The multiplier effect in understanding a trend and making a projection over a certain period of time can make you, if you know the trend and you know the yardstick, become accurate in what you are doing. We have done it and it came to pass. So many people said that will never ever happen. And you see in Nigeria, unfortunately, you see the security services, one or two that I knew of, they are active after an incident. After an incident, particularly when they know the entire attention of the leadership and the lead are all on them, you see them running around, in most cases doing nothing. So an eye-service-oriented security department or group or an establishment or service is a disservice to Nigeria. Will never fetch you what you want. Eye-service pretending to be, for example, if bandits are identified to be in the northern part of Nigeria, they are any of the three. And then something happened, and suddenly you see some people wearing leaves on their body with helmet and rifle and running around the president or any of the leaders, those in National Assembly, or even judiciary, if they rear themselves, or if there is any discussions, they are here in camouflage as if this is the battleground. These are people you shouldn't trust. The training has nothing to do with eye service, but today it's just like some faulty military commanders the whole world over. The lesson started since the World War I, where regimentation in a given officer, by way of saluting, calling you sir, identifying himself as one who is rare in the service, sparkling outfit, and the rest of it. In most cases, most commanders do misinterpret such conduct, which is expected or lined up in regimentation to mean loyalty. No, they are two different worlds apart. There are identification out there, yardstick measurement in identifying loyalty. There's also another for regimentation. So this attitude in the service that brought officers to be who they should be seen to be at critical times in saving their country. now in most cases are now applied to executive officers during peacetime. That is unexpected. But today this is a trend. So many have copied it. The greater the eye service, the more money they receive, and the more acknowledgement they receive. So there should be a total orientation. And my fear this time around is the predictions we have for Nigeria at this point in time, starting from any time 3-4 months from now. And I will explain if you want later on.
When we get there, and we would allow you to give us the details of those predictions.
Yes, sure.
But to begin with, you were an intelligence officer in the Nigerian military.
I was privileged.
Right. Now, given the situation we have on hands today, if you do become president of Nigeria by May 29, 2023, what would you do differently from the current administration?
Thank you so very much. First of all, first thing first, it starts with you yourself, the person that has just succeeded in becoming president. There will be new do's and don'ts for you to suit to the demand of the office of the president, and a president that is in dear need of services. So you look into yourself and say, yesterday is gone, I am in a new phase of life, and I have to apply and attune myself to the demands of the office of president, meaning sacrifices, meaning no social hour, until such a period of time stability rears itself in Nigeria. Second, already we are not the type that will say, when God Almighty grant us success, that is when we begin to look at the problems of Nigeria's security. That will be a fundamental mistake and disservice to Nigeria, and that will amount to deceit, and that will amount to waste and abuse of time for this country. If we come, I have spoken to your colleagues one time to say in 6 months I will be having breakfast with guests in Zambiza. I mean it, and I squarely mean it. It's not a joke. If we had anticipated this situation in the 80s, I remember one time I'll tell you this, soon towards the end of Shagari's few days left in power, we discovered armories from military intelligence. I'm sure if you check the press, you go back to it, you will discover. We discovered containers of arms in numerous parts of Lagos. We discovered some other illegal armories in the south. And we discovered some custom officers aiding and abetting that through our ports. We followed it up. Some of our soldiers, one soldier died, one became totally gone, now he has died. We had officers who were injured in the process, but we got the containers. So if such armories, and if such quantity of arms could now be seen to be sent. So when we realized within a month, there was a high trend of importation of arms and explosives in Nigeria, we said, if the entire services and police cannot get themselves adjusted and attuned to the threats facing Nigeria, our streets may be turned to battlefields. All of us, all the officers, I was the most junior. We were brought and subjected to interviews. We faced a panel to say that we were sending fears into the services and to the general populace. We meant it. We never changed. And today, some of those seniors of ours, even though retired, they are still apologetic to what they subjected us to. We never changed. That's why in security, there is a big wall difference between politics and security. Security has some certain scientific measures for you to look at and never get out of it, no matter how difficult. The solution lies in there. Some are dangerous, but you have to be as realistic as you see it. That's why you see some people who are found lazy, unfortunately, if they now move within the restrictions and within this yardstick, and they do not know what to do, and probably if also they realize that time is against them, they cook anything and send to people. That aspect of it is as dangerous or more than the threat itself facing the country. There are so many like this. You know, there is also, I will tell you this, over time, I will not mention names of some certain individuals who were investing in what I'm going to tell you now. They write fictitious reports. They bring yesterday's own and make it voluminous and update it as if it is the present occurrences in the country. Thousands of pages as if it is an occurrence to the president, for example. That's for 1/9. President doesn't have the time to read thousands of pages now and give you, and then answer your prayers. And you see some of the prayers has nothing to do other than approving money. So if the president finds it cumbersome or find in some of the documents write-offs from some foreign countries, even some foreign writers, all add together. Then the president will require a special team to X-ray it. And the president, what the president will do is to look at time available, the contents that are classified as top secret, and then for the eyes of the president. But some of us sat down to begin to know what they were doing against Nigeria, against leadership in the past. And we discovered this was a game. So that's why any such bulky things are sent to the president, and time comes running against the president, or it becomes impossible for the president to read through to them in 24 hours, 72 hours sometimes, then we know it's a game. And security, anything that is cumbersome is a suspect. Anything and anybody, including the president of the country, if he's the most senior, including the most junior intelligence officer, or if it is the most junior commander in the country. Once he brings in something that is cumbersome and is rushing the system, then definitely there are some lines they are hiding in, and that is total fraud, if you look at it carefully. But today, you realize that such threats has pushed politicians into being more comfortable with goat, because goat has a horn, than being comfortable with a lion in the field of fighting. So today it's goat that is fighting for you, not lions.
So what would you do differently? Just like
too many. First of all, if we're in there, already we are following. I know the state of the military carefully, and then you can easily get that done. And I am doing it, and I'm updating myself out of concern, out of the love of this country, out of the love for peace to return. Peace, security, and order to return to Nigeria. We look at the conduct and other services, paramilitary in Nigeria. We are looking at also the Joint Intelligence Bureau of Nigeria. We see what they do. There are intermittent breaks. They submit reports for the executive arm to take action there from. Some are for the legislature. Some are even for the attention of the judiciary. We do not, under any guise, keep our eyes shut out of occurrences that way. So we update our manifesto. We update our plans on what to do. First of all, the military. I am changing the doctrine governing the military today, because time has changed. All the threats that came yesterday, and then the negligence, overlooking most of them, that snowballed into where we are today, where tiny little ants has now become a monster for us to grind with. The banditry. Boko Haram initially in 1999, 1st of October, when the idea of Boko Haram was conceived and brought forward. And to today, you have this banditry. And to what is coming next, which is extremely disturbing, because arms supplying, illegal armories at home, arms being supplied through our borders, through our ports, and then arms and ammunition, money, drugs, and then the doctrine that is engineering recruitment for Nigerians and non-Nigerians outside our borders, and pushing all to make things difficult for Nigeria. Numerous things are attracting this. Your God-given solid mineral resources, your position in Africa, and then resources untapped, resources you are yet to know, resources you are yet to know the depth, and then you have resources that determines the future of the world. Get what I'm saying? The future of the world is in abundance here. There are countries that do not have, but they have military might. There are countries also that are looking for to get it at cheaper rate so that their countries can grow and then be seen to be within the topper layers of Committee of Nations in the world. In Nigeria, you have it, but you are yet to know who you are, and you are yet to know what God Almighty has given to you. That is why we have the pains to take risks. We've been to numerous ministries, we've been to numerous parastatals. We traveled to so many countries on our own to update that informed our manifesto. That's why with ease we can say this. So first thing to do with this little narrative, so that you can know why we are doing what I'm going to tell you. A new doctrine for your military. The police, hear me, will be X-rayed. There are duties created for police in the year 1982, correction 1981. When the mobile police was being introduced, there was some certain aspect of the military where military is brought to intervene, or may be brought to intervene in internal security situations like the way we're having today. The police gave it to itself. At that time, the might and the influence of the military, of the police leadership, and the desire to say, the military at that time, if you can remember, there was a campaign. We will keep them back in the barracks, and never again shall we have the military back to power. That brought some arrogancy, ignorantly, of some certain people in the police. And then they begin to say that some certain powers should now be given to them. There were 3 of them, but I will give you one. One is the powers of investigation. It's a fundamental mistake. It wasn't captured by law at that time. Police now can investigate, determine what, and determine who. And the question you ask is, these powers of investigation alone brought arrogance and corruption into the police. 1981. Look at what I'm telling you. Then if you have a police that thinks this way and believe they are bigger than any other institution, the question I ask you is, who is watching over the police? And all we kept doing is to have Ministry of Police Affairs. What are the limitations of Ministry of Police Affairs? How do they know what the police is doing? And today, Ministry of Police Affairs or Police Service Commission, you sit down and look at the powers and their routines and look at the police independently, each of the two. You realize that it's just a waste of time. We have created a ministry and an institution on one hand to oversee the police. The question is, of what influence, of what use? But yes, today, I'm not against anybody collecting salaries or allowances. It helps the economy in a way. But it doesn't help your institution to say there is an institution that is operating outside the Constitution and then being supported officially. It's a disservice in killing the police. Today, I'm not saying within them there are some, they are all bad, no. There are finest police officers you can be proud of to send them to any part of the world, I know of. But the system doesn't allow. So you see, this is, I talk about the military, new doctrine. In the new doctrine, there is everything that coming up with a new doctrine comes up with. Training, welfare, salary, promotion, and then being tested. And now they should be seen to be more attuned to what is called low-intensity conflict. Low-intensity conflict today, everywhere there is war. It's unlike what it was yesterday. I mean, since Second World War, most fighters are now in town. The most difficult aspect of it. America call it low-intensity conflict. Low-intensity conflict is where Nigeria is required to invest more in training, direction, and all that making a new doctrine requires. It is a heavy load if I'm to download them for you. But again, keep that aside. Your mode of intelligence collection at home and abroad, there are so many things required. I don't want to go deep into that because of its sensitivity. But there is something called national intelligence management that has to do with one thing called speedy intelligence flow for the country. Once it becomes faulty and slow, the country is gone. It's either blinded or it's weakened to act. You can only get to know after the incident had happened and you are in already damaged state control. Leave that aside. Your paramilitary are equally, exceptionally wanting. I don't want to go into that because it hurts me sometimes. You haven't been to the border to see what they do. You haven't been to the port to see what they do. You haven't now sit down to see how they communicate with enemies of Nigeria. You have not seen them communicating and agreeing on certain terms of illegal items being brought out is further supporting the insurgency you have in your country. There are some of them who are very good, but the dirty ones are considered the dirtiest of the dirtiest because we cite somebody, and I keep it here. He does not even know the effect of what he was doing. But he was thankful to God Almighty for the gains he was making out of it. He's a rich man, but a junior person. And I'm holding on to this as a sample. Should the need comes tomorrow. Meaning, in those services within the paramilitary, there are some who believe out of ill information or ill training, very shallow-minded people, some of them. Some are good. But such people see themselves as doing the right thing because they are making money and nobody is asking questions. And sometimes if there are occasions, they give gestures to their seniors. Keep that aside also. Looking at your resources, looking at the threats coming ahead of you, and looking at the enormity of the investment some people want to do is like preparing for a huge bank robbery coming against Nigeria. So some of them today cannot stop at anything. And one of these things that brought about this is the issue of oil and gas. Dirty business. The dirty business domestic and dirty business international, we'll talk about it later. But that alone has brought the need today for so many countries to right now, as I talk to you, sitting down to revisit their mode of international trade vis-a-vis the contents and their currency, and how beneficial it becomes to them. The Russian-Ukraine war has brought a lot of lessons to the world, The question is, has Nigeria updated herself? Are we aware where this is taking the whole world over? Do we realize what we have as Naira some 50 years ago, 40-something years ago? The relationship of Naira was being spent around the world. But today, Naira is just good for where? Unfortunately, my currency, very disturbing to say, disheartening indeed. Naira that was some 40 years ago, which is to say, with all our resources, all we have been doing 40-something years ago is destroying the country. If Naira, to the major currency today, that is being considered as the major currency for international trade, Naira was 46 kobo to 1, then you now realize that if you can multiply the trend this way, and if this current trend continues in Nigeria, which shows in the nearest future, we will all hurt ourselves. But one question I asked myself, I didn't solicit for God Almighty to create me in Nigeria. So also you, so also him, so also all of us, so also the whole country.
Yeah, doctor.
But again, one sentence, we found ourselves as Nigerians. The question is, why the disservice to the country? Where is the foresight? Where is the investment? Why the greed? Why corruption to this level? Why should somebody be in an executive office, poor, and then soon after he leaves the office, he will now be measured among the seasoned billionaires around the whole world? So many things are wrong with us. The eye service I talked about in the services is also within the populace. How do you change it? It's another thing entirely. And finally, to your question, you must, this is a must, those who know what they're doing, who care for Nigeria, who understood that there is something coming against Nigeria, create something new regarding your internal security, something less than military, something bigger than police. All your resources should first of all be in the head of a president of Nigeria to say, in every portion of Nigeria, we have this and to this quantity. No matter how difficult, a president should have it in his fingertips at all times. You should have something governing your maritime security from the major rivers you have, including turning your water under a ministry called Ministry of Water Resources. You don't need it. The world has gone far. Water resources goes directly under security today because it's a weapon, and many people don't understand. And the moment these people begin to understand the dangers of using water to achieve what they want, I'm sorry for Nigeria.
So what is the relationship between all of these that we have talked about and the predictions that you mentioned earlier on? What are those predictions?
The predictions that Nigeria will turn to Somalia. And all the indices have pointed to that. See, if there is no willpower in any executive, if there is no foresight in commanders in the field, if patriotism is affected in commanders in the field, no matter who they are, no matter how many they are, if there is the question of loyalty, if there is that sense of greed where money becomes a priority in what they do and it becomes a cycle, if there is understanding and synergy between the executive and the legislature with the commanders and their bosses, and then money becomes the tying knot between all of them, that country is doomed. Nothing you predict will work.
So
First of all, this cycle brings money by the day, unfortunately. You assess Nigeria on your own. Second is to say that the sons of the poor are the ones fighting in the field. But the commander we know that is worth identifying with, respecting, and the qualities that makes a general are distinct. The truth is the truth. False is false, even in the eyes of the president. If the president shouts at me, accept this as white. No, this is black, Mr. President. If he wants to retire me tomorrow, I will retire with honor. That is the way military is. Because if you do not separate politics away from facts of security, facts, the principles of providing security management to your country, I'm very sorry. And today, if you give an assessment by yourself, you know what is going on. And if you look at this year's stick and look at events and occurrences in Nigeria, you will surely shed tears and you'll be disturbed. So many people are swimming out of ignorance of this, and you see them hitting their chest, we'll take care of it. I tell you one thing, the Rock Tag Army, how many were they in 1999, January 1st when they started? Do you know why I'm keeping to this date? They came to me when I was in Kirikiri, and they wanted the police I trained in the 90s. Because police were brought to be presidential escort team, is 2 mobile units. And each unit, I think, was made up of 210 or so. Those they were bringing to the presidency by two. I refused all of them to hold arms in the presidency. And I refused all of them the chance to even come near until you go through my school. If you qualify, you are with us. If you fail to qualify, you cannot be to us, even if you are the son of the president. And I made it in black and white clear. And police fought me, the IG fought me, the NSC at that time fought me, but I stand on my own. One day, God Almighty vindicated me, not because I wanted it, but he vindicated me. We had President Eyadema of Togo who visited Nigeria. Suddenly, a Browning submachine gun fell from the hand of a mobile police, and it kept firing. He see a visiting president, see Nigerian president, see ministers were jumping. It was one of the bodyguards who lied on it and changed the face. Okay, nobody died, but there were injuries. You know the meaning of that? If that had hit Nigerian president or the visiting president or his minister or any military officer or senior officer, you know what we are allowing to carry weapons around us? You know for how long it takes for them to say, I have groomed them and trained them, and they now know what it takes to become a police officer, and you give them arms to your country, and the moment you see them in uniform, you believe them. That's dangerous working around you. So I don't believe in that condition, that training in itself. That's why I said police will be x-rayed, and I am not mixing words. The police of Nigeria will be real police.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.